Welcome to another MX5 Restorer workshop update. We're just going to run you through what we've got on in the workshop today and what's going on. We've got a couple of big projects going on, and we've got quite an interesting rusty Mark II that's come over from France to show you all guys as well. So come with me. So one that Roy's working on at the moment, all three of these MX5s, they're all undergoing quite extensive seal repairs at the moment. It's quite often we've got various things going on in the workshop, but we've got some very rusty MX5s that we're doing some correction work on. So this one has already had the inner seals cut out, jacking points, sill end plates. This was all quite a rusty MX5. Roy, have you done the inner arch lips on this?
Yes, back sections.
So yeah, so the inner arch lips here were all rusted out, and we've fabricated new ones to replace them, to keep it nice and strong, all back to original fitment. There's a section here that was completely rotted out, and Roy's put that in. So this is the beginning of the rebuild of the sill area. So after this, he will probably get the inner seal on and then start rebuilding the rear part, the jacking point here, and then finishing up with the seal end plate box section, and then we can start putting the outer panel back on. So, okay. Well, are we going to go around the other side? I think it's a bit busy around there. I think Roy's camera shy as well. You might get to meet him someday in the workshop. So this one Ashley's working on. This has all been cut out. Still hasn't been cleaned up, but it's not far off from the one you've just seen, really, in terms of condition wise. We're not going to be doing we doing the arches on this one? It does look like we're going up there. I'm not too sure.
Yeah, we are.
Yeah, but I think on this one, probably the inner arch lip's probably going to be okay. Doesn't look too bad really from the outside, but as we're finding more and more working on the MX5s, it is getting a little bit harder to tell sometimes what's on the inside, because they can look sometimes not that bad, and you open them up and the inner arch lips have just completely corroded out. And so the other side's been worked on. So this side would have been very similar condition to the other side, but I think it was worse. So the inner section's been rebuilt, the inner sill has been put back on, but this side's had a complete new sill end plate fitted, because the other one was just too far gone to even salvage or do any repairs on. So you can see, if you look up into the wheel arch, you can see where the sill end plate meets, and there'll be a little bit of work up the top there to bridge it onto the existing metal. But it's not far off from completed, this side, in terms of the inner structure. Everything all gets painted with a zinc primer, and it's all rust treated as it goes in. So I think Ashley will probably finish up on this side today, hopefully. And then this is a very similar. They're all very similar, aren't they? In terms of this is sort of like the sort of normal worst case scenario for a sill repair when everything sort of needs replacing. You can see the inner sections being built. The inner sill will go on after this, and obviously repairs to the sill end plate. This sill end plate is salvageable. There'll be some repairs on it, but it wasn't gone too far to the point where it needed replacing. Yeah. That repair, there'll be a repair up the top there, but it was a local. It started rusting quite badly at this point here and worked its way in, so this is going to be cut out and then it'll be repaired. The driver's side, that was worse, this side, but again, it was all the it's all in line with the others that you've seen here. This, in terms of this area here, has all been cut out, cleaned. The sill end plate was actually quite salvageable up the top, so it's just going to have a new lower one. Yeah. There is also a very common hole up the top here, which a lot of the MX5s, when they have a rust point. So quite often on an MX5, you might have some rust on the sill, but it's quite common in this area. You get some bubbling going on, and even if your arch lip is okay, this is a very high common spot for some rust to start appearing, and the result for that bubbling is this rust in here that you can see. It's been cut back a bit. There's still a little bit more cleaning up to do in there, but this rust point here is why you get bubbling coming up on the arch on the outside up here. So that's
normally we would be repairing that when we're doing a whole arch.
Yes, yeah, because the customer is only having the seals done. It is quite difficult to repair in here to do as thoroughly as we would like to do, but when you're not cutting the arch out and disturbing any of this metal, we've got to put a repair patch in here without disturbing the paintwork on the outside. So it's quite a delicate welding process, that one, because you're literally welding right onto this arch lip here, and you do a bit, let it cool down, go back to it. Okay, right, this is going to be an interesting one. This customer's come over from France to see us. We've done a customer from France, and I think the club over in France is sort of watching this one to see how this goes, because they don't know of us as much. They do hear of us and of our work as well, but obviously being over in France, it's quite a mission for them to come over, but you know, it's good. It's good that someone's gonna. We feel quite privileged that someone will take that time to come over from quite far away to see us. But this customer has, I think, was his car standing for 2 years?
I think, yes, it was standing for us for a while.
Yeah, so this car was standing for 2 years, and he had water in his seals, which has caused the problem. So this is probably the rustiest Mark II 2.5 we've had in here. So you can see that this is just all completely rusted out. It's going to need seals all the way forward to the front. We're convinced that this is a direct result from water sitting in the seals and being left to stand. It was standing on some grass, but I don't think that's been the main cause, because you can just generally see where just all on this exposed metal here, this isn't as bad as what I would expected it to have seen if it was caused by just sitting on the grass, but I'm convinced that this is the result of having moisture and water residue within the seals, and it's just completely rotted out. If you look at the front jacking point here, you see it's come all the way to the front. So this is going to need complete seals inners all the way from the front to back this side. And I think we're waiting for the customer to sort of give us a okay to go ahead on this. Passenger side isn't as bad, but you can see that it's all completely gone. Yeah, just nothing left of it really. Be a good one to do. And say I think this is probably the worst rusty sill Mark II that I've probably come across that we're potentially going to repair as well.
In terms of the sill to floor panel, definitely.
Yeah. I mean, this is quite normal here. What we're seeing here, this is like, but it's sometimes we're getting the jacking points that are rusted out, but that normally tends to sort of stop here, and generally the metal is good past this point to the front. But yeah, so one thing to learn: make sure your seal drains are unblocked, because when you've got water sitting in these seals for a while, this is the direct result of them. So if you hear sloshing when you put your foot on the brake or accelerate, get a cable tie. That's the best tool, because it's plastic, it's non-scratching. You just poke them up in these holes here and then get the water to drain out. Right, that's the end of the workshop update. Thanks for listening, and see you next time.